Hi. Monday. It is Monday. Welcome. There's not a particular reason as to why I wanted to come live. However, I felt the calling to be a conduit for some messages. I feel like this is a soul-to-soul exchange, but it is also a human-to-human exchange. So please take what resonates, leave the rest for someone else. Okay, so I've named this, the title of this live, The Joy of Being Seen. Oops, it's meant to be as yourself, I think. Let's just change that. And I feel the joy of that, and just of the concept of showing up where you feel called to take up a space is following your joy. As a goddess, oracle, healer, a Kaitiaki of Wairua, a seer, a conduit, a instrument of sorts, you following your joy is going to lead you into your highest timeline. And that's not to say that the joy doesn't come with discomfort or displeasure. It is about taking aligned action towards your purpose, which is a mix between the seen and the unseen realms. There's no perfection in following your joy. There's no right or wrong in following your joy and creating from that space. There is only you in that realm, and your ability to listen to spirit, to source, to hear ego, which is doubt, which is fear, which is often validation, right? I learned very early in my spiritual awakening journey that it's not validation that we're seeking, it's the confirmation of the joy and the bliss that we feel within ourselves. And that is what we seek to project onto other people. I don't believe that we want to hurt people. We want to project on people. We want to be triggered. I don't believe that even if someone who is comfortable within being uncomfortable enjoys that level of uncomfortability, particularly if they are holding a space or becoming a master of sorts. When I say master, but we're only ever really mastering ourselves, aren't we? And that mastering is the process that we go through, often as the oracle, often as spiritual advisors, as healers, as energy workers, right? Someone who works energy. There is that level of awareness of self between what is yours and what is not. And it doesn't even matter who it belongs to. It's just your awareness of yourself in that space. And then organizing all of that for you to be able to take that position up within your joy. So I'm feeling a real enlightenment coming. Spirit keeps telling me that the gap between the comfortable and the uncomfortable is going to be getting wider and wider and wider. And what that means is that the difference between lack and wealth, it's going to be very, very obvious, and it's going to be very, very apparent who allows lack and scarcity to lead over the continuous conscious flow of intuition. This is a big reason why we need to stay grounded within our spiritual practices when we are offering ourselves as the conduit, so we don't lose ourselves within the collective of energies that is our soul's purpose to be the conduit for. I talk a lot about habits, and a lot of my coaching is about discipline and consistently showing up for yourself. It's about having clarity and intention to give all when you're in that space. A couple of weeks ago, I was reminded that not everybody cheers for you. Not everybody is happy for you. There are still jealous people. There are still people who are afraid of themselves, and when they see you, they're looking at you in the mirror, and you reflect that scarcity back to them, and that's terrifying, right? But we can see that as a weakness within ourselves, particularly when we are the person who is seeing our own reflection come back to us. We're like, damn, that's a really humbling experience. And the ego loves to have a voice. The ego loves to take up space. But there is space for that part of ourselves, right? It's not, the point isn't to get rid of ego, it's to befriend the ego. It is to love the ego and to make sure that the ego has its place. Because when we move into following our joy and taking action on things that really make us feel good, that make us feel like we're living in our purpose, like we're fulfilling our duty on earth, and that may be for just for like 30 minutes, and then the rest, you feel that in your home, or you feel that in your nest, you feel that when you're coaching kids, sports teams, or it might be when you're going to your local health shop to get some cacao, or it could be when you're meditating, or you're hanging out your washing, cooking a really nutritious meal, whatever it is. Even in those very joyous, aligned situations, there's always that place and that opportunity for you to feel all parts of yourself. So we're moving on from those things that make us feel crappy, and we are approaching a full moon this, what day are we, Monday? Thursday, I think. Te Rako Nui is her highest. her brightest. And what we know with the full moon is that things come into illumination. Things that have been in the shadow are now illuminated, and there is still that dark side of the moon. There still is that shimmer and that hidden part of whatever it is that we're seeing out in the moonlight. This is a time for you to sever yourself from things that feel heavy. This could be communications with people. This could be things in your business that just don't feel aligned anymore. This could be the way that you go about things, the way that you do things. It could be habits, you know. It could be, like, for example, sometimes I do actually smoke too much weed, and I can feel it in my tinana that I need to take a break. That is originally why because I love smoking, but I also am very intentional with the way that I move with that plant medicine, because marijuana is so potent, so raw, so takes you high in a matter of minutes to a point where you are almost looking down upon yourself. So things that are special, they also need regulation. We talk about this in my coaching courses as well. Tapu, which is in my culture something being sacred, and tapu is also forbidden. And it's forbidden because that's how we keep something sacred, when not a lot of people have access to it, or it is reserved for a certain situation or ceremony, or Therefore, there is a type of control that is required upon ourselves when we are engaging in those types of things. And I feel that these messages coming through are encouraging you to look at the things that feel heavy, that you're ready to let go of, that have been simmering for a wee while now, that you know, and it's very clear to you that it is the end of its days. It's very clear to you that things are not working, that things aren't aligning, that it feels like shit when you engage into something. And these can be clients. I don't know if I said that. These can be clients. We often do outgrow our clients if they don't embody the energy and the resources that are available to them, that they are investing in. There could be that cycle, and we understand as the oracle and as the seer and as someone who advises spiritually that your human cannot save everyone. That at the end of the day, although we live a fated path, we still have free will. We come in with free will. I believe free will is very, very tightly tied to karmic lessons. Sometimes we can veer off the path and move into like a karmic situation that wasn't necessarily fated for your life journey. However, it was an option and you fucking said yes. I've actually had a few relationships like that where the lesson was learned. It could have been learned a lot earlier, and spirit often tells me it could have been learned lifetimes ago. So there's that past life karma that comes through. But all in all, when we are following our joy, it doesn't actually matter the path that we've chosen, because we can be grateful for where we are presenting and where we are following our joy in the present moment, which is the present, right? It is a gift. It is a taonga. It is often come in with that clarity and that hindsight, and we're like, it can be something that is quite traumatic to move through also. So what we're feeling at the moment and what we're seeing shifting is that I feel like you're preparing yourself to receive. There has been a lot of movement over the last 2 weeks where things are really starting to fall in place. You're starting to feel really good. You're starting to feel in alignment, and it's not like you're trying too hard. It is naturally happening because of your level of dedication and embodiment. And the results will be shown once you stick to it. You continue to consistently show up for yourself, for your business, and for your soul clients, those who are moving toward you, because you are understanding yourself as the reflection of others who are working the light, who are in the limelight already, who are well and truly projecting their soul's purpose out to the world, and you're feeling that, and you're following the joy and the wealth that they are projecting because it's within you. It's the example that we used with the ego before about the projections, but it is the joy and the bliss that is already you. You are already the person you're desiring to be. You are already that business owner. You are already that psychic. You're already that medium. It is through following your joy that you get the pleasure of what that means. What does that mean to you? What does it truly mean to be able to hold space and serve a collective? What does it mean to you when you're aware that there is a full moon coming and that there's an opportunity for you to be able to cut some cords and sever yourself from things that are heavy and burdensome? I'm hearing that there's grief that's coming in also with that. There is a part of the ego that doesn't want to die, because once a version of yourself dies, it means that there's like no evidence, or there's like energy that once it's out of sight, out of mind, it's like it never existed. And I'm hearing you will get justice for that. It is okay, and you're safe to let go of things that happened to you that no one else saw. It's okay for you to let go of abuse. You don't want to hold that. Hi. It's okay for you to let go of connections and relationships and friendships that just make you feel in pain, that bring a sense of pain. And it doesn't mean that those things no longer exist. It just means that you are no longer settling for that. You're no longer allowing the heaviness and the pain of the grief, of the suffering, to weigh you down anymore. It is okay, and justice does come in, spiritual justice, all the time. We see it, and you will be reprimanded for all of the damages that have happened to you. It is written in your contract. It's written in your soul contract. Why would you be a chosen one to hold space and hold humanity through this massive, pivotal moment in our history? The way that we are moving in terms of society, Why would you be the one to suffer? That just does not even make logical sense. So there is this need for you to learn how to be okay with being without your trauma, to no longer identify yourself as someone who has had all these bad things happen to you. Yes, you are validated in your ego, right? You can search for the validation, but it's not going to have the same results as the version of yourself who lets the shit go and who gets the confirmation that you are better off without it. All of it. It still exists, and it doesn't take away what happened to you, but it does invite the newer versions of yourself, you know, the person who owns a property or 2 or 3, the person who owns a physical shop, a salon, a studio, the person who owns their dream car, who owns a library, who has a new beautiful recording setup, right? The person who can buy a new phone straight, like full payment. The person who can purchase a new camera. Those are all identities. Those are physical manifestations. But to actually acquire those things requires you to think like the person who has enough money plus more to be able to purchase those things. You know, you might be wanting to own a retreat, or I'm thinking about buildings, and I'm thinking about large sums of money. You know, houses are large sums of money, and that is not impossible. So many people do it. You probably live in a neighborhood where people own their own homes. Yes, the world is different, but so are you. Money is different nowadays, and they want to change it more and more and more. And you're learning to adapt to that because your wealth is set for you. You've already got the wealth within you that is going to mirror outside of you. So it's not just about the journaling, the manifesting. It's not just about the breath work. It's not just about being able to buy cards and read them. It is about the mana, the tapu, the sacredness, the awareness, the passion, the love, the alignment that you feel towards all of those things, because they are you. You already have them. Sometimes we linger far too heavily in the things that have happened to us, but at the bottom of that barrel is forgiveness. After the flames have moved and you've severed your ties and you're ready, you know, you've moved through the rage, you've moved through the sadness, you've moved through the confusion and the disgust and, you know, the poor me, the victim, all of that, and you get to forgiveness. You forgive yourself for choosing. You forgive yourself for not knowing any better. You forgive yourself for the stupidity shit that you've done. You forgive yourself for acting in ways that were toxic, that were fucking diabolical. You forgive yourself. And when you forgive yourself, you break those chains. You cut those cords to those people. You let them go. You do it for you. You forgive yourself and you release yourself from those burdens, from that heaviness. And you're able to talk to yourself better, to hear your light a lot more clearer, to decipher what is ego, what is not, in a moment, in a fucking split second. You're like, okay, that is actually not my realistic thinking. That's coming from a place within me that I accept that's there, and I just hold it in place, and I allow the bliss and the fun and the joy and the contentment to hold me. Forgiveness is for you. It is not for the other person or the other people. Okay. Forgiveness is so you can move on. Some people will never forgive themselves, but they will bury themselves in a lifetime of avoiding. And you don't want to be those people. You don't want to be on your deathbed, lonely as hell, because no one wants to be around you because you couldn't take accountability. Forgiveness is taking accountability. It's owning your shit. And when you can own your shit and you can take all of that stuff that you've done and all the things that you may have said, or like whatever the fuck it is, you can forgive yourself and you can claim that, and you can claim it all. And then there is nothing else. No more shame. Ooh, itchy ear. No more guilt. There's no more wallowing. And it's not so you can just hurry up and get your money's worth. It is to set your soul free, to pay your karmic debts, right? To align you back to your enlightenment, which is where you can serve, which is where you can be seen for your light, seen for the greatness that you hold, the wisdom, right? All of that investment you've been studying for years, and not just the conscious study. You've been learning for your whole life, because it's always been a part of your journey to just naturally know things. And you've invested in yourself along the way, and you've connected with people, and you've called people in to remind you of that beauty that you have. Now you've called in some darkness and you've called in some lightness. And there will always be light with the dark and dark with the light. That's duality. It's also wholeness. When you can wrap your human logic, the masculine, and your feminine, illogical, chaotic brain around wholeness, you understand that you have to work with duality. You want to meet people that have that same wholeness. You want to work with people. You want to invest in people. You want to call clients in that understand the light and the dark of themselves. Or at least have a concept that that's what it is. And that's where you're at in your journey. That's not to say that you can't work with people who are only in the darkness, but for you in particular, where you're going and where you're heading and the advancement that you're already at, wholeness is for you, because you are whole. You do have the concept of light and dark within yourself. So why would you not mirror that back? Your children, your parents eventually will get it. They will watch you in your wholeness. You will inspire them. Friends, coaches, mentors, teachers, other healers, sisterhood, community, brotherhood, lovers. A lover who is masculine, who can hold you when you are in your, say, 80% feminine. And you might be 10% masculine a day, 20% masculine a day. Might be in your business, and then you might reserve some for later in the day when you're cooking and you're cleaning. But you don't just want someone who is consistently in their masculine. They need to have that roundness, that ability to meet you heart to heart, soul to soul. A wholeness in their life, a soft, open heart. Wisdom beyond their knowledge, their human knowledge, I mean. That's a feminine embodiment skill. And there are men and women out there like that, all ready to go, just exactly like you and me. And we attract that wholeness when we stop trying to be whole. You know, you just are. You don't have to try so hard to be all these things. You might have to try kind of hard to release some shit if there's some resistance, but that's just working through the ego. And that is just the recalibration back into the light. When you move into the light and you're able to embody the skills that we just talked about, right? The journaling, the affirmations, the breath work, the cacao, the ceremonies, the Reiki, the meditation. We can do those things and not embody those things to the point where we're avoiding the conflict, and then we can move into those practices where we are embodying and releasing the conflict that we hold within ourselves. It's special what you do. And don't allow the darkness of yourself to remove you from your consciousness of the brilliance it is that you do. You are rare. You are rare because of the devastation that's happened to the tangata whenua, the people of this land, the people of the world. You know, through colonization, through capitalism, through all of the ages. You know, we've got the different, we've got the industrial age and all of those things. Those devastated the people. Look what happened to the witches. Even the Maori, my culture here, they put a law in against Maori people where they were not allowed to practice being spiritual. The tohunga law. That was only uplifted in the 1970s. That's absolutely fucking whack. What I'm doing now would have been illegal in the 70s. What we're doing was not allowed on this land. My ancestors lived through that. I'm a product of the bravery and the strength that people all over the world went through, you included. You are rare. What you have, the government wanted it stopped. Do you get that? Do you get how special it is, the connection that you have to the earth, to the trees, to all of the unseen realms, things that, you know, we get teased about sometimes. People call us wacky doodles and all sorts of crazy names. But it's like, I get it. I understand why some people have that mindset, because just the way that your spirituality has been passed through your blood, a lot of the negativity has been passed through the blood. You know, those politicians, our governments, the explorers, the colonizers, I'm just going to call them colonizers. I know it's a really racist word. I will find a new word to use, but they all had children. You know, our country is founded of people who thought the indigenous people of this land were like savages and all sorts of things. It takes a very special person to choose to incarnate in this lifetime. And here you are, two beautiful souls looking at each other. It's like, can you feel that connection to your heart that you chose to be you this lifetime? And maybe this is the lifetime that you've chosen where you're going to just be fucking all of yourself. Because when we go through the past lives, we know that we got burned on the stake. We know we got drowned. We know they hunted us. One of my past lives, they actually were too scared to kill me. I was a witch. They were too scared to kill me because they would think that I would curse their family, which I most definitely would have if I was killed in that lifetime. And they built a hut for me and they put me out into the woods. And they left me there to pretty much die. I had a lot of people come to me for medicinal purposes, though. Children were very intrigued by me. But I lived in that lifetime as a witch. Actually, the last message that came through for that reading, it actually creeped out the channeler. My past version of myself leant into the channeler and said, "The witches are back." The witches are back. We're here. We're present. And we're listening to all of that unknown and all of that wisdom and everything outside of us, and we're pulling it back in, and we're writing books, and we're holding ceremonies, and we're activating it within each other, because that's a part of the soul's purpose. That's the reasons why you're feeling really called to hold ceremony. But it is so, so, so important that soul being, okay, you understand protection, but as the unround supply advertisement got mixed up, jump, we mention a invitation to holding space that is keeping everything legit. It's keeping you safe. It's keeping your clients safe. It's teaching you your own remembrance and how to draw that energy up and draw that energy back to you, because it's power. Knowledge is power. And you are powerful because you are the conduit between this realm and the unseen realms. And that is fucking special. And don't you ever forget it. I've been trying really hard not to swear. But you are special. You are special at what you do, and you are well needed. And we need more of your magic here on earth. And when you follow your joy, when you're just being yourself, when you don't plan your content and you just get on and you're like, you know what, I feel like creating this today. That is your magic. When you let go of control and you let flow in, that is your magic. You're not creating the magic, you are the magic. The magic is what comes out of you. You're safe to be seen in this lifetime. There are no more laws. They're trying to bring them in. But you are here to break the chains. You are here to make noise. You are here to shine your light. And I'm here to help you. So if that course sounds like you, keep an eye out here in the Telegram. If you're watching this over on YouTube, please come in and join my free membership, which is called the Wild Hearts Club. And it is just a gathering of like-minded wahine, like-minded women who have gifts, who have talents, who are artists, healers, mothers, medicine women, midwives, you're dragon riders, you are warriors, wahine toa. It's time. It's time. It's your time to follow your joy, to follow your bliss. I love it. I've got goosebumps. All right, let's take a nice big breath together. In through the nose, sighing it out. 3, 2, 1. Hakiroto. Hakiwaho. Mauri Ora. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to love and leave you. I hope you enjoyed this message. Let me know if you did, bitch. I will see you next time on the live.